Hello and welcome to the Transformation Project, a podcast and community for women who are looking to transform into the best version of themselves no matter where they are at. A place where you can listen, learn, and laugh along with us as we dive deep into different topics to help you live a happier, healthier, and more fulfilled life. Remember, we are all learning here together, and therefore the content and opinions of the hosts and our guests should not be taken as medical advice. Please consult your healthcare professional for any medical questions. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Transformation Project. I hope you have some pen and paper for this podcast. I know there's going to be so much gold dropped because every time I hear this woman speak, I'm like scribbling notes, and then I have to go back to them, and she just always drops so much gold, and I'm so excited to have her on our podcast. So welcome, Kim.
Hi.
Super excited. So today's podcast is all around money, really. And I just want to tell you a little bit about why we have Kim on. So Kim is a money mentor and a wealth principles specialist, a keynote speaker, and a creator of the Wealthy as F Money Mastermind program. Kim is helping ambitious business women learn how to manage their money using universal law so they can hit their next income goal and never have to worry about money again. With over 10 years as an entrepreneur, Kim has built multiple online businesses and has impacted thousands of women's lives with her coaching and support. In 2020, Kim was a Yahoo Finances top 6 mindset and business coach. She is all about getting her clients the results they need and is extremely dedicated to her work. She's also a new mumma, a wine lover, and you will always find her chasing the beach and tropical destinations. And she actually just got back from a holiday. So welcome. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you had a fabulous holiday. It looked beautiful.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. And yes, I was chasing the tropical, and my husband didn't want to take our baby on a plane. I know, so silly, because she gets free flights. So we drove up to the closest epically tropical destination that we could, called Coral Bay. Chasing the ocean. It was so much fun.
Beautiful. So nice. Doesn't want to go on an airplane. I'm like, let's go now. Well, the kid's free. Exactly.
The kids are free, and when they're really, really little, usually they sleep. Like,
if I drink wine on the plane, then it doesn't bother me.
I was going to say, surely your kid's crying. That sounds like a you problem.
Yeah.
The dad problem.
No, I don't know what his issue is. I think it's. I don't know. But in saying that, I was just talking to the ladies off recording, saying how on my holiday I was sleeping with one eye open because I was paranoid that my child was going to be like kidnapped in the middle of the night while we were away for some strange reason. And he was, I don't know. Look, I think as new parents, you just worry about the randomest, craziest things, but everything is actually okay. But we can't help but worry about something.
I think it's just in your DNA. It's in your DNA as a parent. And that never stops. I have a 21-year-old and a 12-year-old, and I still worry where my 21-year-old is constantly.
Yeah.
I literally have her on like Live 360. If she's traveling, it tells me how far she's going. I know wherever she is all the time. And most of the time she doesn't even live at my house, and I still know where she is. So you're doing okay.
Love it. Well, thank you. Honestly, thank you so much for this beautiful opportunity to come in and speak. I actually really love what this is all about. So I love to speak. And as Jess said, that was such the way you shared that intro, Jess, and saying how you think I'm going to share lots of gold. To me, I'm like, it's just another day rambling what I like to talk about.
But you talk about it with so much passion. So I guess how we met each other is you are you're one of my coaches. You're one of my mentors. I have a long money story that I have kind of shared on the podcast before. And I heard you talk about yours and just absolutely loved it. And I think this topic doesn't get spoken enough about. I don't think we're the only people that have money worthiness issues. I think there's lots of us. So I just think it's so important, especially nowadays. And I'm talking specifically to women. I think our audience is mostly women, but I think it's so important for women to have, doesn't necessarily have to be financial independence, but financial, just understanding their finances and if anything happened, they would have the confidence in themselves to take care of themselves and their family. And I just think, you know, my mom, for example, is divorced, and yeah, we grew up as like money was very scarce. It was constantly a battle. And I think that story is really common for people. And I want to help people get over it. And I think our story is kind of similar, Kim, because you said stuff changed for you after you had your daughter. And that was when stuff really changed for me. So I guess let's take us back. How did you get here? What's your money story? Why do you do this? Why do you love it? Tell us everything.
I will. And you just reminded me, because in the intro, you didn't properly say the name of my course, and it could be because the Canadian in you is very polite. I have got a potty mouth. I forgot to ask offline, what are the rules on swearing?
There's no rules. We're generally as explicit because we never know, like we speak about all sorts of things and all parts of everything of being a woman, from sexuality to whatever. So there are no rules. Go for your
Okay. It was just Jess being the Canadian. They don't like to drop the F-bomb. So I am the creator of the course Wealthy as Fuck. There is an asterisk in there written, guys. So as a visual, it looks more polite, but I'm as real as it gets, I feel. And I have to say I have a potty mouth, because to me, I don't feel like I have a potty mouth. I just use some words that people think are rude, but I feel that they add expression to when I share. So I might swear. I don't know. I probably will. So now I just had to say that, because I was like, you didn't say it properly. You didn't drop the F-bomb. I wanted to know why. Ask me again the question. I'm sharing my story. Ask the question.
Yeah, just tell us everything, your money story. Why are you so passionate about helping women with their money beliefs?
Yeah. Okay. So my childhood, if I think about my childhood, where my brain goes, the most prominent memories I have is struggle with money. Like if I wanted to think about, so Kim, were you actually happy as a child? I literally have to like raid the files, you know, like the filing cabinet in the brain. Like I have to make the effort to do that. When I think of my childhood, I just think and feel of pain, struggle, anxiety, stress, and it all was around money. And I still find it quite, is the word ironic, where our life seemed to revolve around money as a child, but we never had any. So I'm like, it's so ironic, because if everything seemed to always be about money, but we never had any, you think like the bloody manifestation laws out there, when you think about something so much, you get it, right? No, it didn't work that way. But I grew up, I don't remember my parents ever being happy. Maybe if I think of some childhood videos that I've watched, but my parents divorced when I was 8, and any memory before then was just them fighting, financial stress. It was just messy. So as a 9-year-old, I felt like I took that role. I was the eldest, I'm the firstborn, and I have a little brother. And I felt like I took on that responsible role. Like I became the woman of the house when I would see my dad, and my mom, bless her, love her so much money anxieties, all of the world's problems are hers. You know, she's a huge victim. She does it very well. And I mean that's like, she taught me how to be the best victim in the world. So I felt like I had to step up into a maturity at such a young age, because she was going through so much around money and so stressed. Do you know what I mean with that?
Yeah.
And I took it into my adolescence, and I got a job as soon as I could. I started working for $5 an hour as a babysitter. I babysat my niece. And then the legal age to start working in Perth, Australia, at the time was 13 and 9 months. So literally on the day, I did a job interview, and I didn't think about what job would I love. I just took whatever I could, because I'm like, it's so important to make money. I need to make money, because if I don't have money, you're not going to be happy. There's going to be stress. Like this is the shit that was drilled into me. And I got a job working in the deli section at a supermarket. And I tell you what, I know how to cook a chicken oven that cooks those big ovens that roast those chickens. Yeah, I know how to cook, clean them so fucking fast. Seriously, I was the youngest there, and I became one of the best workers there because I was a high achiever. But I took a job. Like, what 13-year-old girl wants to work wearing a hairnet and really uncomfortable clothes, slicing meats on a meat slicer? Like, anyway, I did it because it was a job, and I've worked ever since then. I've always worked, if that makes sense. Like, I've always known, okay, got to work for money, got to be successful, because that's going to create a good life for you. So I heard all these stories that, you got to work really hard because, and you have to finish high school. You guys may have heard that too. Like, if you don't finish high school, you're a failure. Okay, so I'll finish high school. Well, you have to go to university. If you go to university, then you'll become successful. Okay, well, I want to be successful because success equals money, and money equals no pain. And so I went to university and I did 2 degrees, actually. I did a postgraduate degree. So I did one. I actually got accepted into masters, but I did the postgraduate degree because I was like, if I do 2, that's double the success. I should earn more money once I finish university. So everything was looking right. It looked like I had my life sorted, everything on track. I finished uni. I couldn't even get a job. There was no jobs going.
I think that so many can relate. Just as from my mom was a single mom too. So, same thing. She worked in conferences, right? So big conferences for companies. She worked for a hotel chain. So she used to sell those. She was a top saleswoman constantly, like massive hustler to try and always but came to winter. She just like lost it one day and she's like, I can't be cold anymore. And she went and, maxed out the credit card to get heating blankets on the bed and then like stressed about it for the next whatever. Mm-hmm. So similar thing that I guess that Jess and I'm sure can relate.
Just the stress
kind of thing.
Yeah, just so much stress around money. And the thing is no matter how hard I worked, no matter how many hours I took on after school or around my uni classes, I still never had enough. I still was always broke. I was still in debt. I still partied on the weekend, and had a social life because that's what you do. But you chase the fun. Like, as children, as adolescents, as young adults, our whole life we chase fun, because fun, like, do we want a life without fun? But that's what I was doing. So I always felt broke no matter how hard I worked. And I always felt like there was never enough. And then I couldn't even get the job that I just spent. I think for what I studied sports science and exercise physiology. And because it's in the field of science and human physiology, it's a more expensive uni degree here because of, I think, there's a lot of medical aspects to it. So it was called a HEX debt at the time. Now it's called a HELP debt. I think they just changed it to make it sound nicer. Still a debt to the government. And I'm super grateful that as an Australian, I could get that help, whatever they call it, like student loans. But it was just shy of $30,000. So I had this almost $30,000 debt and no job that is usually promised to you after you do all that study. So you can imagine my stress levels, right?
Yeah.
I was like, when is this going to end? So I have always had a bit of that entrepreneurial part of me as well. Like, I used to always clean up the garden and fill the garbage bags with leaves and shrubbery. And I think my mum and my stepdad would pay me and my brother like $2 a bag or something. So me and my brother used to hustle money at home. We do our chores. How can we earn more? Washing the car. We'd do things. We'd always find ways to make money. Again, I feel like I say this, I'm like, shit, I did a lot as a child to make money, but I still never had any. Like, where did it go? So when I finished uni and couldn't get a job, I was introduced to the online world of network marketing, had no idea about it, but I was familiar with Avon. My mum used to always buy Avon. I'd seen some other things and I just saw an opportunity to work for myself. And over the next 3 years, I built to the top of that company and created a full-time income and did all the things, burnt myself out working really hard because, the only way to be successful and make money is you have to work really hard. But I got there. And I truly believe I got there because I was young and I had somewhat the energy to do it. I could not do that now at 31 years old. But I got there, and guess this, right? I was earning, at the time, it was $5,000 a month. That was when you hit the top, the minimum full-time amount you get, which to me, I've never earned that much in my life before. $5,000 a month residually. I still felt broke. I didn't have any other than my uni debt. I didn't have anything else like huge to pay for. So I was like, what is going on? And then I was like, right, I need to earn more money. I need to earn more. So I worked harder. I was like, all right, I'm going to go up the compensation plan in this company. I can see, I want to get these bonuses. I want to get promotions. I want to build. So I did that over the next couple of years, and my paycheck grew to between $7,000 and $10,000 a month. So it would fluctuate around there. Again, still felt broke. So like, imagine if you're earning, let's halve it, $8,500, right? A month. Residual, meaning if you took a month off, you still get paid. And you felt broke. Like, I just don't know what was going on. I was earning 6 figures a year. What the hell? So what actually happened for me, and this is when I started to do the work around money, to realize how much my childhood and all this money pain and all this stress and all this crap, right? How much of it is actually a gift to my life and what I'm here to do and why I'm meant to be here. But I decided to finally like invest in myself and learn about this. So I was always introduced to the world of personal development. Being in online business, I feel like we are very exposed to personal development and human development and learning about how the mind works and the human behavior and how we can, pretty much what I like to say, work on our bullshit so we can have a better life. And I'd been exposed to this money course a couple of times in the past, but I could never afford it, right? I would much rather go drinking on the weekend and spend my Sunday hungover in bed with my boyfriend, rather than attend this seminar that's going to teach me how to handle my money and deal with my money stories. But I finally did it. I finally said enough was enough. And I was 27. So it wasn't that long ago. I'd just been married, and Daniel, who's my husband, and I were moving to Canada. We bought a one-way ticket. We got our working visas just so we could stay there longer. We were on our way to Canada. Who knows what was going to happen? We just wanted a change. And I went to this course and I finally listened. And it was such a pivotal moment for me because, first of all, I learned why I was continually self-sabotaging, why I was continuing to feel like there was never enough money, no matter how much money I earned. And I actually learned a series of principles I like to call wealth principles of how to manage your money and how to handle your money and your emotions around your money in accordance with universal law. So you never have to worry about money again. You learn how to manage it all. And I just want to share, because that's where my pivotal point was, is I was like, I need to make this change. And I could talk all day about this, and I know we're totally on a time limit. But when I learned this and I started implementing it, this is where everything changed. And this is why I want to share how I learned that the reason that I had all this stress, all this financial pain, all this anxiety that was affecting my health, it was affecting my relationships, all of that is because I was on the receiving end of the hand-me-down scarcity money beliefs that my parents had, they gave to me, their parents gave to them, so on and so on. So and this is a huge part of my vision now, my mission of why it is I do what I do, because so many of us have been given these hand-me-down beliefs. We're a part of this lineage, this generational lineage of a scarcity mentality. So we actually don't know any better. We've actually hardwired our brain to believe that there isn't enough, that, money doesn't grow on trees, that you have to reach burnout to be successful, or we are grown up to believe that rich people are greedy. So I don't know if any of those ring true to you, but they were some of my main money beliefs.
I think this is such an important topic to look at, especially as women, because we know right now that for a fact, the highest or the quickest growing level of homelessness is in women over the age of 50. And it's for exactly that reason that a lot of women, they finish their schooling, they get married, they become, a stay-at-home mom, or they're working in the home. They don't have superannuation, for example. They don't have their own savings. They don't have any, I'm saying inverted, I'm doing my little finger quotes, like job skills, right? And so, they get to kind of 50, husband passes away, leaves, divorces them, and they end up homeless. And so there's, huge, I have a friend who hires caravans out to people who are facing homelessness. His biggest clientele is women over 50 in that exact situation. Yeah. And so I think it is so incredibly important to teach women and young women, because there's so many things I know now. I'm like, oh my God, I wish someone had told me this when I was 20. Mm-hmm. My daughter is so sick of me. Like, everything's a lesson. My kids are like, not everything has to be a lesson, Mom, but everything's a lesson.
It is, yeah.
Because you don't want that for them. And so it's definitely something that's really important. So if you had the 3 top tips that you could tell, let's start with a young woman kind of starting out. I would love to know what those are. And then on the flip side, if you are a woman who's now sitting in your 50s, what do we do now?
The good news is we can start as soon as we decide we want to start. I always have joked with my, one-on-ones and in my group coaching that, look, at the end of the day, we can blame our parents for our money crap now. We totally can. But we can either choose to stay blaming them. I wouldn't say parents, your parental figures, wherever you learnt your money stories from, your money beliefs from. But we can blame them because they gave it to us, 100%. But then we can take responsibility right now to make change. So being young, I don't even want to categorize age. I don't even want to do that. I do understand there is a 20-year-old potential has more time and has time to work and earn more money compared to a 50-year-old in that sense. But at the same time, if you learn how to handle your money correctly and you learn how to invest correctly, you can earn hundreds of thousands of dollars in a very short period of time if you want to. So I actually want to say, if you're listening and you're in one of those age ranges, let's just actually blow that out of the park, because I don't really have a first tip, but one of my tips is you have to learn to handle what you have. Jess has heard me talk a lot about this. It's actually a universal law, the universal law of handling what you have. And what that means is when you learn to handle what you have, you create space for receiving more. Now, this applies to everything in life, but let's be specific to money. Your ability and capacity to handle money as you are right now is the reason why you have what you have, or you don't have what you don't have. Meaning, if you're highly strung and really emotional around money, or you don't, let's start with that. The universe is going to be like, well, you get really stressed really easily, so why am I going to give you more money to handle when you can't actually handle what you have properly without being stressed? So the example is the person who wins lotto. They win $1 million. They spend it all in 12 months. They end up more broke than before they started winning lotto. We all hear the stories. We probably actually know someone. I inherited $60,000 as a 21-year-old, 40 of it, 20 grand of it I can account for. The other 20 grand I can't. And the other, I dwindled it down to $20,000 because that's all I could emotionally handle at the time. So I didn't know how to handle bigger money. So the first tip is learn to handle what you have. So there's 2 parts of it. There's the emotional side and the physical side. You need to get on top of your emotions around money. And this stems from your money beliefs. What's actually driving your emotions around money? So a little process you can do is like get the journal out or get your notes out in your phone and ask yourself, okay, what did my parents say about money? What did I hear about money growing up? What are some negative events that happened, and what was the common theme? Because this is where we developed our emotions around money. And when you get clear on them, and then you can start to rewrite them, rewrite the stories, work out what's the truth you actually want to believe. And then you can start to, what I like to call is forgive the shitty money stories, because that creates an emotion. And you know how we we're just talking about, everything is a lesson, which means it's a gift. Everything has a gift in it. So what was the lesson in the shitty money stories? And I'm just being mindful of time, so I won't go into what my lesson is around money doesn't grow on trees, but I had to find the gift in that, so I could actually see how me learning that money doesn't grow on trees, like, oh, actually, that's not the real truth. I worked out the real truth was that my mum just wanted to work really hard and provide for us kids. And she didn't want to feel like she couldn't give us, she didn't want to feel like she wasn't enough. So she would tell us kids that, she would dwindle things down so she looked like she was providing enough, if that makes sense. So that's learning to handle your emotions. Now there's the physical side. You actually have to know how to handle your money, like the wealthier version of yourself. So, and this is where wealth principles come in. Principles are, it's not about the amount, it's the principle, it's what you do. So for example, if your income lands in your bank account, the first thing you do is pay all of your bills, you've literally just handed over your power to other people, other companies, before it's not even been an investment, it's a depreciation in a way. You've given away your power and you're leaving yourself, you're dwindling down that income to, okay, what do I have left over for me? So you've made yourself the smallest. So the universe is like, well, if you're not going to appreciate yourself first, why should you earn more? Or if you do earn more, you will start buying more, you'll spend it. You'll put money into things before you actually appreciate yourself. So my first tip on the wealth principle side of thing is you always pay yourself first. So when money lands into your bank account, no matter how big or small, you put a small percentage. You start with less than 10%. I don't even care if it works out to be 50 cents. Start with a small amount and you put that into a savings account, or I like to call your self-worth account, and you put money to you first.
This is a game changer for me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I have to save this much. And I couldn't because of how much debt and stuff I was paying off. And when you said that to me, you're like, it can be 1%. I was like, this is so stupid. Like, I can't put in $10 a week. I'm never going to get anywhere. But honestly, so I do 25 a week. It's not a lot. It's not a lot of money. But watching that grow over the last 3 months has felt so calming. Maybe would probably be the first word that I can do it. And I haven't gone back in and taken it out because I've done that a gazillion times. You put it in the savings, then you move it back out at the end of the week for groceries. But one of the other things that really helped me with what you're talking about, just be aware of your money. I look at my bank account every day and I would avoid this. I would avoid it. I would just play I'd set up, my bills would go out of this account, my money would go in there and I wouldn't look. And I would literally go to the grocery store flying blind, just being like, well, just don't spend a lot of money, Jess, because you don't know how much is in there. And you also need to get gas this week and all these things. And it was causing me so much stress and anxiety. And now just checking my bank every day, half the time it doesn't change day to day. It really only changes 2 days a week kind of thing. But just seeing it and being like, yep, great. And that money's still in the savings and I'm not going to touch it. And this is still how much money I have. And it's almost like the money has grown, even though I'm still getting paid the same amount for my traditional job.
Exactly the point. I just literally got whole body tingles when you shared that, because this stuff works. And Jess has only taken on board in information that I've shared in free webinars. So Jess has just done the basics, and it's the whole point, right? You got to handle your emotions and you have to handle the physical, which is the tangible money. And the reason, if you're someone who you don't want to check your bank accounts because it brings anxiety or stress or whatnot, you're not learning to handle your money or your emotions. So no wonder you're just going to keep feeling stressed, or you're going to keep feeling broke. But if you, exactly how Jess said, oh, it's just, $25, that's $25 a week you were not doing before. And the thing is, you said the first emotion you feel is calm. Now, the aim of the game is to remove all emotion around money. But at the same time, we are human beings having a human experience, which is felt in emotional form. So we can't, like, it's delusional to think that we're going to fully eradicate our emotions, because we're humans. It doesn't work that way. But you feel calm. To me, if we want to balance out and neutralize things, wouldn't the first emotion attached to that be calm? So by you by you paying yourself first, you're following the principle. It's not about the amount. It's about the principle of paying yourself first. You've literally calmed your nervous system. You've calmed your emotions. You're allowing space for more. Even if you're saying you haven't received a pay rise or anything yet, but you see more money growing in your account, you've just created more for yourself. And this is what women don't do. Men don't do it either. I can speak for women because I'm a woman, and I feel like we just have not different. You know where I'm going with this. Us women, we're breaking a lot of a deeper lineage, I think, of the scarcity, because we're only in this generation, this lifetime now where we're business women, we're entrepreneurs. You know, it's very fresh still. But that's my tip, whether you're 20 or you're 50. You know, pay yourself first. I don't care if you get $20 a week, put a small percentage. It has to be percentage based. Work out, it might be 50, as I said, 50 cents. I am talking so fucking minimal. So you can't even come at me with an excuse. You've got to find a way that you can put 5 cents. It's to you first before you pay anything else, because you are showing, you're following universal law, you are appreciating. So money flows and grow. Money flows to where it's appreciated most, right? And you know this. When you invest money, when you buy stocks, shares, crypto, what are other investments? Property, NFTs now, there's a whole world of things. We know we're buying an asset. An asset is something that appreciates. So we feel easier to put our money into that because we know we're going to get a return. Then you have a depreciation. Depreciations are, let's buy the bottle of wine. Let's go out on the weekend. Honestly, travel, as much as it gives you an experience, traveling is depreciating money because you spend it, you have your experience, and then it's gone. Like, the money's gone. Buying a car, unless you're buying a classic or vintage, don't ask me because I'm not a car person. All I know is the minute you drive a car out of the car shop, it like decreases value straight away. Same as boats. So cars aren't even an asset in that sense. But you see, we get conditioned to spend all our money on depreciating things. So we're constantly chasing our tail all the time. I don't have enough. I've spent my money before it's come in. I've got to keep up, but I've got to live this life. I'm chasing the freedom. I'm chasing the fun. Can you see how we fuck ourselves over in that way?
Yeah.
So if we can stop it, they need to teach this stuff in schools, right? Like, seriously. If we can first, can you see, I can give you one tip and I can talk all day about it. Because there's just so much to it, and it's so, I love this information. Pay yourself first before you do anything else. Pay your bills last. Your bills are the last thing you pay, and you physically pay them. I only do direct debits if I get a discount, because I'm receiving more money at the end of the day. But I choose the date that it comes out, and like, I set it all up to time with how I do my finances. Otherwise, I transfer and pay all my bills manually. And do you know what? People go, oh, that's way too hard. Yeah, cool. You're handing over your personal power. To me, it's not hard. Like, I feel more empowered paying my own bills because it's my money. It financially empowers you. So it puts you in, it removes your emotion around it. One more tip. If money is really, really important to you, the third tip is go and invest money into upskilling. Like, spend the money on yourself. Find the money. If you don't have it, make it of importance for you to invest the money to go learn the skills, to handling your money better, to recoding and rewiring the brain, to getting rid of the emotions, to getting the formulas, getting the strategies. Go do that, because we are our biggest asset. The more money I've spent on myself, the more money I have made, because I've up-leveled, I've increased in value. because I am my greatest asset. So I've invested in me. The return on investment, I've gone up in value. So I attract in more money because I am more valuable. I feel it, I believe it, and I have more value to give.
Yeah.
And I used to hold out on this because I thought I couldn't afford it. And I just hope and wish and wait for things to get better. And they never did.
On the flip side of this, because Yvette's husband and I are a bit the same with this, I'm like a course junkie, where like all I want to do is learn, but then it's like the implementation. So what do you say to this people?
My
Like,
husband will literally be like, hey, there's this cool thing. And he's not like that anymore because he became aware of it. But I was like, babe, you could literally teach that. You don't need to go to a course for that. Like, you could take that course. And he was like, yeah, actually, you're right. And so once he started realizing how many of the courses he wanted to take, he could have taught himself.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's flipped now because he's like the freaking crypto NFT genius. Like,
so
and that's something that he had no idea of before. He was like, he was completely, if there was anything that was done at technology, he'd be like, nah, not into it. He's like, his crypto brain freaks me out. He's like, knows so much about stuff. And
is he getting results in crypto?
Yeah, he's doing great.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the Jess person, right? Who course, but still feels like, I don't know enough, I'm not getting the results. So there's a difference between investing in the course and actually implementing. So if you're investing in you, what's going to get you the result? So I used to be the same too. Like, I need to keep learning. I have to go to university. I have to do this. I've got to study this. But that was driven by an inner thought of, I'm not smart enough. I'm not good enough. I've got to keep getting better. Then I can be successful. But we never ever, that's what the driving point there was. But in reality it's the accountability that we need. So I have learned, and this is a rough statistic. I've heard it. So look, I haven't cited it, this statistic anywhere. I've heard it and it makes so much sense. They say 2% of the world's population are self-accountable. The rest of us, we have to outsource the accountability. So the reason, if you are doing all the courses, but I do, like Jess, I do them all and I invest all this money, blah, blah, blah. And I've been there as well. But if there hasn't been the accountability attached, that's why you're not getting the results. You're not putting the money into the right type of course for you. But do you know what? It's not about the courses. It's about the accountability.
Yeah.
If you can keep yourself accountable, sweet, you're winning. But if you can't, if you're doing things and you're like, I still need to learn more, you need to find the person or the thing that's going to actually get you the results, or what's actually going to it's holding you accountable to do the hard stuff. And I will say this, right? I can talk about this with ease, right? And it makes so much sense. But if it was easy to implement, none of us would have money problems. It's simple, but we are so comfortable with our lack and our poverty mentality and wishing for more and thinking we just need to get smarter and do all these things. We resist actually doing the work. So investing your money into something that's going to actually move the needle for you and make you do the work, that's what's going to get you the results.
And I think that's the biggest difference with what I've noticed with doing your course is it's a course. Yes, there's the course aspect, but there's the coaching aspect. So there is the accountability. There is and even just because I'm in your group coaching. So it's almost like you don't want to hop on and be like, nah, didn't do any of that work, because Kim's going to ask us. She's going to say who did it, and you're in front of all these other people and you're like, oh.
That's it. Well, look, I can keep you accountable till the cows come home. But the thing is, I'm not self-accountable. I always have a coach. For when I want to grow, I need someone to keep me accountable. But I'm really fucking good at keeping you accountable.
I guess that's the same. I guess we're all accountable at some things. Like, I'm super accountable with my workouts. No one needs to, I don't need a personal trainer. I've been a personal trainer. I don't need one. I'm super accountable with that. But, my finances, or maybe like growing my business or other things, like I need someone to
actually. I know I am being mindful of time, but I know there's so much gold in this. But that's the thing, right? It wasn't always easy to work out from day one. Now it is for you. So for me, following the wealth principles and being so structured with my money becomes so habitual to me now that it's actually, I don't need accountability with that anymore because I've done the work. I learned it all, right? And I implemented. It was hard at the start to stay disciplined. Now, if I receive money that wasn't planned, unexpected, and I could be like, oh my God, I follow a system, so it does get allocated, but I could be like, oh, I could go shopping. Like, that's not money I don't recommend this. But if I don't have a plan for it, I go into analysis paralysis because I'm like, well, I could put it towards debt and I could put it towards savings and I could do this and that and that and that. And I teach a lot on, at the end of the day, you want to remove the emotion, you make your own empowered choice with this. But I'm like, I actually have to structure it now because I don't know how to be accountable to just like, to spend it on whatever I want. I'm like, I actually have to follow a system. Where at the start, following the system was so fucking hard because I wanted to go out on the weekend. I wanted to go clothes shopping. I wanted to buy the thing that I didn't need, but I wanted, and then I'll just pay my phone bill late and get a late fee. That was old me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
I love it. I love it. So much gold. And honestly, like, yeah, I know you could go on forever about it, and I love it. And I appreciate you for doing this so much. So, but where can people find you? If they want to know more, if they want to learn from you, if they maybe want to work from you, where can people find you?
Yeah. So, social media is the new websites, right? Is the new business card. And I'm assuming that my links will be in the show notes anyway. But you can reach out to me on my Instagram. That is my business card as such. But how can you work with me? At the moment, I have my high-end ticket, which is one-on-one, which I have a few women who just want me in their pockets 24/7, helping them learn this stuff, working on the mindset and implementing the principles. But what I love the most and what is growing fast is my community, the Wealthy as Fuck community, which is the 12-month, I call it a 12-month mentorship mastermind, because you need the time to do this work. It's not just like a 2-week course. You need time to implement it. And I want to hold your hand and get you the results. And the doors are open for that. So you can find me, but honestly, just send me a message, go onto my Instagram, the link's there. I'll have the link in the show notes. You can sign up through the sales page. You can have a look there, or you can actually book obligation-free strategy call where we can just chat. So I'll give you the link for that as well. And you can just ask questions and see what's going to work for you if you want to work with me. There's more. You can just read up on the course, I think, because if you're interested, you're interested. If you're not, you're not.
That's right. I guess it's how it works with most things, right? And yeah, we know that as network marketers. If you're interested, you're interested. If you're not, you're not.
If you're not, you're not. Exactly.
Either way is all good. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I do. Sorry, I do have a free I have a free masterclass you're welcome to watch. So I'll give you the link for that as well. So if you want a free taste of my coaching and whatnot, it's the 3 Universal Laws of Money masterclass.
It was very good.
Yeah. I'll give you that
there you go. Just vouchers for that one.
Totally. Yeah.
Just done that one. Excellent. So we'll make sure we have all of that in the show notes. Kim, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. And we hope out there, wherever you are, that you have managed to take some notes from today and learn something that's really going to make a difference in your life moving forward. And of course, as usual, wherever you are in the world, we hope you are having an absolutely incredible day. And we'll see you next time on The Transformation Project. Thank you for listening in to this episode of The Transformation Project. The Transformation Project is not just a podcast, we're also a community. We're a collective of like-minded people all around the world seeking to live their best life and raise each other up. We're looking to support you, set goals, get healthier, connect with yourself and others at a deeper level, and better understand yourself and the world around you. We're always looking to link arms with like-minded people wanting to create more out of life. You can connect with us via our website, which is www.thetransformationproject.net.au. Email us at support@thetransformationproject.net.au. or simply listen in to one of our podcast episodes, which can be found on all podcast platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can even watch some of our episodes on our YouTube channel, simply called The Transformation Project. Please like and subscribe to make sure you hear all the incredible shows and guests we have lined up. If you have any feedback or any comment, we would love to hear those, as well as any ideas or guests that you think we should be interviewing in future. Thank you for joining us on this episode of The Transformation Project.